I want you to imagine something. Imagine you're the richest person in your entire city, but you're also the most hated. You've got this incredible house, but absolutely no one to invite over. Now, this isn't just some thought experiment. This was the day-to-day reality for a man named Zacchaeus. And his story? It's an incredible tale of isolation, one desperate act, and the single moment a glance changed absolutely everything.
So that brings us to the central question, right? What really drives a man like that? A guy with all the wealth, all the status, to just throw his dignity out the window and scramble up a tree in front of everyone who despises him. The answer? Well, it's not simple, but it gets to the very heart of what we're all really looking for. To really get why he climbed that tree, we have to understand the man. And to understand the man, we got to understand his city. So let's go to Jericho, a busy, rich, bustling trade hub. I mean, this place was alive with commerce and noise. And right in the middle of it all lived our guy, Zacchaeus, a man who was completely and totally alone. And here, you can really see the two sides of Zacchaeus' life just laid bare. On one hand, he had all the symbols of success. He wasn't just a tax collector, he was the chief. He had enormous wealth, a beautiful home, all the power that comes with that. But then you look at the other side of the ledger, and it's just empty. No peace, no real friends, zero respect, and maybe the biggest one, no sense of belonging. He had basically bought all the comfort in the world, but he'd sold his entire community to get it. You know, these words, they weren't just random insults. This was the soundtrack to his life. This was the constant whisper that followed him down the street, the labels that defined him to his own people. You can just picture it. Mothers pulling their kids a little closer when he walked by. Men just stopping their conversations cold when he came near. He was an outcast in his own hometown. So why? Why was he so hated? Well, it's because as the chief tax collector, he wasn't just doing a job for the occupying Roman army. He was getting rich off of it. I mean, the whole system was basically designed for corruption. His collectors would go out, demand way more tax than Rome actually required, Rome would get its cut, and Zacchaeus, he got to pocket the rest. So he wasn't just collecting taxes, he was building his fortune by making his own neighbors poor. But then, a piece of news hits Jericho, and it sets this whole incredible chain of events in motion. A teacher, a healer, a man named Jesus of Nazareth is coming to town. For most people, it's a spectacle, something interesting to see. For Zacchaeus, it's about to become the turning point of his entire life. And it really seems like the whole city turns out. The streets are just jammed with people. You can see them on rooftops, leaning out of windows, all trying to get a look. The energy in the air is electric. And Zacchaeus, for reasons he probably couldn't even explain himself, he feels this pull. He has to see this man. And, this is key, he goes by himself. He leaves behind the guards who would normally just shove a path clear for him. So when he gets to the crowd, he just hits this silent, solid wall of people, and the space around him, it tightens. Not in a welcoming way, but to actively squeeze him out. People just kind of shift their weight, use their bodies, using his short stature against him to make sure he sees nothing but a wall of backs. He is literally being shut out. And in that moment of being totally and completely excluded, desperation just takes over. And this whole sequence happens fast. It's almost frantic. 1, he's blocked. 2, his eyes are darting around, and he spots a sycamore tree up ahead with branches hanging right over the road. 3, in an instant, something just snaps. All his pride, his status, his so-called dignity, he just lets it all go. And 4, he runs. This powerful, rich man running through the streets and climbing a tree like a little kid. Okay, and this is where the story just completely flips on its head. Zacchaeus is now hiding up in the leaves. He can finally see. He thinks he's just an anonymous face in the crowd, a spectator. He has no clue he's about to become the main event. I mean, can you just picture the scene? The whole procession is moving along, the crowd's buzzing, and then right under the branch where Zacchaeus is perched, Jesus just stops. The whole parade grinds to a halt. Everybody's confused. Why here? What's he looking at? And then he looks up. Not like he's searching, but like he already knows. He looks right through the leaves, right at Zacchaeus, and he speaks. And he doesn't just see a man in a tree, he knows his name, Zacchaeus. The way he says it, it's not an accusation, it's an invitation. And then comes the line that just shatters every social and religious rule in the book. I must stay at your house today.
Oh, and the crowd's reaction? It is immediate, and it is ugly. The murmuring just explodes into outrage. A sinner, that's all they see. For them, it's a permanent brand, a chain he can never, ever break. They just cannot believe that this holy man would choose to associate with the single most hated person in the entire city. But Jesus, he just ignores the noise. They walk together right to Zacchaeus' big, empty house. The public showdown is over. Now, the private transformation is about to begin. And somewhere in the middle of the meal, something just shifts inside Zacchaeus. He can't sit still anymore. He stands up so suddenly that the whole room just goes quiet. You can imagine the disciples stop eating, they look up. Jesus looks at him, not surprised, but just waiting. This is the moment.
His voice might be a little shaky, but his decision is rock solid. Lord, he says, using a title he'd probably only ever used for Caesar. And what he says next is just stunning. It's not, I'll think about it, or I'll do it later. No, it's here and now. He promises to give half of his entire fortune to the poor, the very same people his system had been crushing. But wait, he doesn't stop there. He gets really specific. He says if he's cheated anyone, he's going to pay it back 4 times what he took. Now, this is not just some symbolic gesture. This is a massive, costly, tangible act of making things right. It's way more than the law ever required. This is what a truly changed heart looks like. And this is Jesus's powerful response. He validates everything. He doesn't say salvation will come one day. He says it has come, today, right now. And then he does something absolutely incredible. He publicly restores Zacchaeus' identity. By calling him a son of Abraham, he's telling everyone in that room and in that town that this outcast, this traitor, he's welcomed back into the family. He belongs. So, what do we do with this story? What does this ancient account really mean for us? Well, its power isn't just in what happened to one guy 2,000 years ago. It's in the universal truth it tells us about what it means to be seen and the incredible possibility of change. Think about it. Zacchaeus was completely defined by his past, but one single encounter just rewrote his entire future. Yeah, he was rejected by the crowd, but being truly seen by one person changed everything. It's just this powerful reminder that acceptance is so much more powerful than rejection, and that maybe, just maybe, help doesn't always come for the people who look like they have it all together, but for those who are brave enough to know they're lost. And that really leaves us with this one last question to chew on. What does it actually mean to be truly seen? Not just glanced at, but seen. Past all the labels, all the mistakes, past the walls we all put up. Zacchaeus climbed a tree hoping to catch a quick glimpse of Jesus. But the real miracle of the story is that Jesus saw him first. So the question for you is, what would it mean to be truly seen?